If you talk the talk, you gotta walk the walk. I don't know what you thought, but I've been taught by Yahuwah, by Yahuwah. I say by Yahuwah, you know the all should die, and now y'all all should cry, because the real is back. I say the real is back. I took L's, that's facts, and yet still June to now, I've been working out the legalities with the ministry and stuff. Okay, so now we're operating now as a full ministry, like a regular ministry now, kind of minus the 501c3, you know, which is from my knowledge, it's like something that it's like a I don't want to say credit, but it's something when you get your taxes and stuff done at the end of the year, you apply that code to the, you know, to your taxes to get the benefits. And basically what we're kind of operating under is a 508. I don't know if it's a C1 or a 1A or something like that, but it's kind of like the opposite of the 501c3. So basically how the 501c3 work, from my knowledge, is that the government will give you, you know, all of these different benefits and, you know, tax breaks and things of that nature, but then you cannot participate in any type of political issues or, you know, anything like that. So you pretty much exchanging benefits for silence. Okay, now with the 508, it's the other way around. You don't have to abide by those rules of the 501c3, but you just don't get any type of government benefits or breaks or anything like that, which we're not looking for that anyway. We're trying to get people off of that government diet anyway, so we're not, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, so let's kind of get into that, you know. So basically, at first, when I first started out doing this, I was just kind of like, just started teaching and was just trying to get the word to people. But you got to understand that everything out here is business orientated. You know, I had a lot of different things going on with different individuals throughout the years. One of the things that a lot of y'all are familiar with is when I had the little thing with Shalom Yah and Gilbert. He sent me a cease and desist. Okay, and I had some other stuff going on. That's not the only thing, but some of the people that was closer to me was basically kind of telling me that, you know, you kind of want to make sure that you got some type of protection in place so that you're not sued and stuff like this. And you got to understand that we're living in a day and time where people just don't have any type of integrity. You know what I'm saying? They're not about nothing, you know. And so people will create incident. And I'm not speaking about any incident in particular. I'm just saying in general. People will create situations. People will engage you. People will throw rocks, but when it comes back on them and they got to play defense, and you know what I'm saying, they want to cheat, and they start biting like Tyson. You know what I'm saying? So I was at a place where I was just like, okay, we're going to this next level. I just gotta have everything in place, and everything here in the United States is business orientated. Everything, you know, the United States is owned by the District of Columbia, which the District of Columbia is owned by London, the District of Columbia, and the Vatican, Mr. Rome, okay? And so they own the District of Columbia. DC, that's its own separate entity, and DC, those entities own the rest of the United States. So all of this stuff is owned. You know, you can go to the Dun and Bradstreet right now, look up your state, see who owns it, see how much money it's making. Everything is business, okay? So I had to get some type of structure together. So we're now operating as a regular ministry. So, you know, make sure you guys are supporting. You're going to see, and I'm getting ready to get into this here in a minute, about the support, how you guys can support the ministry. So the next thing is, as you guys see, is that we're no longer FOTW, but we are now K.O.I. So when I was in the process of putting this structure together, I had to figure out, I had to decide if I was just going to go with FOTW or what the deal was. And the Ruach moved me to go with our heritage name, okay, our government name, Israel. You know, so we're no longer FOTW, Fathers of the Way, but we are the Kingdom of Israel, the Kingdom of Israel, K.O.I. Okay, and the reason for the change is that as this information is being recorded in time. It's important that this information, as far as the word is concerned, is recorded under our government or our heritage name, okay, Israel, okay, because this is how, as things are being recorded in time, this is how people get lost, because we're operating under all of these straw man names, okay. And see, when you look at a lot of these different messianic groups that's got all of these different names, what they have adopted is a practice that they have observed from the church. And see, what the church has done is that when you look at like the Baptist, the Pentecostal, and the Methodist, and all these different versions of Christianity, you have to understand that these people broke away from the Catholic Church. See, the Catholic Church is the original doctrine. Doesn't matter how the Baptists and all of these different people try to switch it up. The original doctrine is the Catholic Church. If you want to know what the people was worshiping back then in the church during that time period, thousands of years ago, all you got to do is look at the Roman Catholic Church. That's the mother church that all of these churches broke away from. We know Martin Luther and the Protestants broke away from them, but the Roman Catholics haven't changed their doctrine. They still follow the same stuff. The Pope still go bow down to the Black Madonna, the black woman and the black child, and all of this stuff. So all of these church entities have broke away from the Roman Catholic Church. This is the origin. So no matter how they try to repackage it and try to make it look good, this is the origin. Just look at the Roman Catholic Church. That's the mother. That's the origin where all of these different entities come from. Okay, so people have followed those practices, and then they call their ministry this and their ministry that, and then it's like when stuff get recorded in time, what is followers of the way? What is that? Oh, it sounds like some Christian stuff, and really, we on Israelite time. Okay, we're not following Christianity, Christian theology, or none of that stuff. So it's important that when we record stuff in time, that we're recording it under our real name, okay? And so this is why we have moved from FOTW, and now we're K.O.I, the Kingdom of Israel, okay? The other reason why is because when you go into Jeremiah, okay, the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, one of the things you're going to find out is that a lot of people today say they're under this new covenant, okay? When we go and we look at where they're getting this from, Tanakh teaches us that the Father states that the new covenant that he's going to establish with the nation of Israel, with Israel and Judah in those days, okay? Letting you know that this is a covenant that he's establishing, not with the rest of the world and all other people, but with the nation of Israel. So why would we be identifying ourselves as anything else but Israel? You see what I'm saying? And you're saying that you're following this, but you're running around talking about you're a Christian and original Christians, and I'm this and I'm that. Nah, that stuff is out the door. Okay, so let's kind of get into some things that we got going on as far as the changes with the ministry. Okay, so one of the things that we have changed and we're doing now is we are now accepting donations, okay? And there's a few ways that you can donate. You can donate via Cash Out, and if you're kind of actually, by the time this video is released, it's going to be released in sections, but by the time you get to this video, you'll be understanding like what's going on. But you'll see the Cash App information going across the bottom of the screen where you can donate to our K.O.I Cash App. You can go to our website and you can donate via our website too, okay? And I'm going to leave the description down, the link down in the description box where guys can get to the new website. You can donate via the website. You can also support the ministry by, I now have a membership set up on the page, okay? Well, before I get to the membership, when you look at the top of the, where you can like and dislike and things like that, you have super chat and things like that you can send if you want to donate that way. Also, I would prefer the Cash App. That way we don't have to have the tube all in our pockets. But if people feel like they want to go through that route, that's cool too. But then I also have the membership set up on YouTube also, and on Patreon, okay? And so basically what's going on is that if you're subscribed to our low tier membership, then you'll have access to the videos and things of that nature early. Okay, so like right now, you're getting this in parts, but the full video is done or will be done when I get done with this. And if you're subscribed to our low tier, I think it's like $2 or something like that, then you're gonna always have access to the videos first before they're actually released to the public. And then we have our top tier and YouTube membership, where you'll still get access to the early videos, but then you get access to our chat, our Discord chat. Okay, I have moved away from, back in the day I used to operate through Messenger, Skype, WhatsApp, and things of that nature, trying to, when it's time for us to kind of sit down and go through a lot of different things, we'll have a lot of different platforms that we used to utilize. I'm moving away from that, and I'm strictly utilizing Discord now, okay? And so you will get the link if you go through YouTube, through our top tier, where you will get access to that Discord. Now, when you subscribe to that membership and you get the link to the Discord, you can click on that link and it will take you directly to our Discord. And then when you get to the Discord, it will be a welcome video, and I will be basically breaking down all the rules and instructions and things of what's going on in that particular chat. You can also access it through Patreon, okay? And our Patreon is going to be our biggest package, which is going to be like $25 a month, I believe. And through Patreon, you get all of those perks, but you will also get access where we will be able, where I would do phone interviews with you, phone calls. If you want to, speak more in depth about the word, you got family issues and things like that, you have to do that through Patreon. Okay. And so basically how this is going to work is that if people have questions or things of that nature, then when you come into the Discord, into the group, then you're able to leave those questions in the chat. And what my plan is, and like I said, I will have a separate video on that once you get into the chat. But what I want to do is like, if somebody come into the chat and they leave a question or whatever, I want to try to answer it the next day or within 48 hours. Now, of course, I have a lot of other personal stuff that's going on that I have to tend to. So I'm trying to work that out, where I might have one of the brethren swap out for, I got to figure out how I'm going to work that. But if something comes up, it might not be the next day. It might be, a day later, or whatever the situation may be. So I will go through all of that in that particular video. But basically what I'm going to do is that when people come in there and they have questions on the word or whatever the case may be, the next day I'm going to be getting on and basically answering those questions via live video. And then those that are in that particular Discord will have access to that video chat daily, as I'm able to go in there and do that. Okay. So as you come through Patreon and that, then you will be able to kind of see, I will have 2 different videos on both ends, kind of breaking everything down in steps of basically what's going on. So I just kind of want to give you guys an overview of what's going on with that. Now, people may say, well, why are you doing that? Well, one of the reasons why is because over the years, as I have dealt with brothers and sisters, okay, I have tried to deal with them in all of these different platforms and have, we had groups and things like that set up. Well, what tends to happen, and I'm some of the blame too. I don't want to just put the blame on everybody else. But what has happened is there's a lack of supervision, a lack of people actually coming to try to learn. People want to play. They want to waste time. They're more concerned about the things of the world, and that's cool. But when we come into places of learning, we have to be ready to learn. You don't go, if you're in college, you may talk on the way to class or something like that. But once you get into class, into the school zone, all of this playing and horse playing and all of this stuff is not going on. They may do this stuff in grade school coming up, you playing, but when you get into college, you should have been matured and be able to sit down and kind of deal with things of the word. And so a lot of this stuff is not going on. A lot of people are into all this other stuff, and that's cool. Do that on your on time, do sidebar conversations. But when we're in class, we got to stay focused so that people can learn. So often we have situations where people are coming in amongst us that want to learn, but then you got clowns that's in the group that's just got all of this weird stuff going on and people just can't learn. So I'm moving away from that. Those days are done. I'm going to have a group for learning. My job, listen, my job as a man of the Most High, a minister, my job is to raise up other ministers out here that's able to teach this word and teach it efficiently. I'm not here to be playing around, and I'm not here to get the fame and think like I'm just this big teacher. Yeah, the Father has baracked me with eating and baracked me with, but it's a whole nother generation coming behind me. I'm not going to be here forever. So I have to take the things that the Father has given me and make sure that I'm teaching brothers and sisters this word, and this is what I'm doing. So I know that when people come into these groups now, they're not going to be playing. It's going to be serious business, and as relationships develop, via this way, and we can move away from that type of setting and deal, but it's just too often that it's too much planning stuff that's going on, and it's important for me to get all of that stuff out the way so that the men of the Most High that's coming in can understand this word, get an understanding, and is able to teach this word. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is that too often, you have people that just want to waste your time. It's just like, for an example, I just had to move away from a brother that I've been dealing with for over 3 years because he's now trying to tell me that, the Father name is not Yahuwah. Okay. And so to all of you who I have dealt with personally throughout the years, okay, and even those of you that I haven't dealt with in a lot of my OV, I have explained to you, when the Father opened your eyes to this lie of, Islam, Christianity, or whatever walk of life you coming from, and like, okay, they have lied to me about these names or whatever the case may be, your job is to sit down and do your due diligence and to find out, what is the true name of the Father, okay? And at the time when I was believing in the Son, the name of the Father and the Son, okay? And so too often what people do is they will fall in love with certain avatars, okay? They may like your preaching style. They might like, just certain things about you, and they gravitate towards you. And so what these people end up doing is, instead of them sitting down and doing the research and doing all the studying, they're still playing church. They listen to what you saying, they listen to what this person's saying, and they're not doing no research. And before you know it, they lost in the sauce. They're ever learning, never able to come into the knowledge of the truth because they have not done their due diligence. See, and you have to sit down and figure out. This was the first thing that I did when the Father opened my eyes. What is the name? I see all these names out here. So how do I know that the name I'm calling on is the real name? I don't. So I have to look at every name and test everything against the book and against the Hebrew to make sure that the name that I'm calling on is in alignment with that. And see, people don't do that, And so what happened is that this guy started taking like a Hebrew course or whatever the case may be. And so when me and him was talking not too long ago, he was saying that I could guarantee you, or something to that extent, that the name is not I know for a fact that it's not Yahuwah. So I'm on the phone listening to him, and I'm like, well, what's the name then? I don't know 100% for sure. I got a name that I think, but I don't. I'm like, well, what's the name? And he would never tell me. So this is the deal when you're dealing with these type of people, where you're going to learn the Hebrew. You're telling me this is not the name, but then you can't tell me what the name is. And this is another deceptive trick that they try to operate with, right? They want you to think that there's certain special rules that you need in order to break down what the Father name is, okay? What people got to understand is that the same grammar rules that govern the language of Hebrew and every other name in Hebrew is the same grammar rules and regulations that you use for the Father name. They act like it's a whole different system where you got to know all this rock is the same system that's used for the regular Hebrew names and things like that. Is the same grammar rules that you use for the Father name. It's not hard. So I took the brother, I say, and then he trying to teach me something that I taught years ago. And this is why I say I don't have to be in people's households to know and understand if these people are studying. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're studying and you're watching the videos, then you would know this information and know that it was taught. And this is another reason why I'm setting this system up like this, because you will put a video. Now think about this. I'm taking my time, hundreds and hundreds of hours, to sit down and do research and do all of this stuff, while you taking your time to go out and enjoy all of this stuff with your families, your friends. You're doing all of this stuff when the weekend come, or throughout the week. You're enjoying your time, and all you're doing is waiting on the video. And then when you get the video, you don't even watch the whole video. You watch a few minutes, but then people want to call you and ask you, well, what about this? I'm like, did you watch the video? It's all in the video. It's not like people are calling and saying, I watched the video, you said this, but I didn't understand this or that. It's like you asking me something. I'm like, did you watch the video? And most of these people have microwave mentalities. You know, they only have a few minutes, and then after that they're distracted, you know, because most of these people are deficient in minerals, the things that they need in order to allow the mind to run at top efficiency. They don't have it, so they can't stay focused for about like 10 or 15 minutes. I'm like, bro, did you watch it? You know, it's like when I get into the lab, I'm in the lab. It's times I might get up, I might be in the lab from like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to like 8, 9 o'clock at night. Like I get down through there. I got that go. Like this is how I do it when I'm in the lab. You know what I'm saying? So these people want to sit up here and just waste time. And I'm like, I'm doing all of this research. I'm doing all of this stuff. And you can't sit down and watch an hour video and get the information. So this is why I have these systems in place. But getting back to this brother, I took him to the name of Jehoshaphat. I said, well, how you pronounce this name right here? Because he was trying to tell me that the Y cannot be a double letter. I said, well, how you say this name right here? He said, oh, it's Jehoshaphat. So he's going to use the Hebrew grammar to pronounce that name. And I said, so why aren't you using that here for the father's name? He gonna say, oh, well, that's because the vowel points is Adoni. And I'm just like, now you're taking the Hebrew course. You're trying to son me like I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know this. Like, listen, this is what I want people to understand, right? Because these people that take these Hebrew courses, they think like it's deep. I can Google right now, what is the English grammar for a sentence? What is that? What are the rules for a sentence in English? Okay, whether you go to school or you speak the language, they're going to tell you exactly what it is. So the same rules that's being used to govern all this other stuff is the same thing with that. So he's trying to tell me that, oh, well, the vowel points is Adoni. No, it's not. Adoni has its own vowel points. When you look at the name of Yahuwah in the Masoretic text, they have it vowel pointed to say Yehovah or Yehovah is how they pronounce the Y as a V. But they have Yehovah. Okay, so where are they getting that from? They're getting it from the vowel points that's under the name. That's not no Adoni. What the Jews do today when they pronounce the name is that when they get to the name, they say either Hashem or they say Adoni. But they don't alter the actual vowel points of the name. They just don't say it. You see? So when you look at the vowel points for Adoni, it's going to be different for the name Yehovah. And if these people that's writing and speaking Hebrew, these people know the grammar rules. So if you're saying that the Y and the double Y, where is they getting Yehovah from? Yehovah from? Where are they getting that from? If that ain't the proper Hebrew grammar. So these people want to sit up here and make it seem like this stuff is deep and it's hard. So what Hebrew are you learning? Because these people that put this stuff here, they have that stuff vowel pointed to say that. They just don't say it when they get to the name. So it's stuff like this where you spend all this time around people. They're not learning. They're wasting all this time playing church because they're waiting on this fake doomsday. And then as time progresses, you can see how people not getting any understanding or they're not learning, you know. So I have to stop that, you know. I have to stop, you know what I'm saying, wasting my time with people that's really not trying to learn, because I got other things that the Father want me to focus my attention on. You know, I'm not here to sit up and just, you know, yeah, if we build relationships and things like that, that's different, you know. But I have a lot of people in my life that I know outside of this, you know, that if I want to hang out with or talk, people that I know, and not people hiding behind cameras and keyboards, people you don't know nothing about these people, what they, what they got going on. So it's just certain things, certain mechanisms that's got to be put in place, and this is just what it is. Okay, so now let me break down and explain to you why we're taking donations and exactly what it is that you're donating to. Now, over the years, when I first started, I never took any type of donations, no monies from anybody. I had some years back, I had a sister from overseas that sent me like a package, a little care box with a lot of different miscellaneous things from her particular country, and I appreciated that. And her, just having it in her heart to do something like that and send that to me, even though I haven't been able to repay her, I would like to repay her, but at any rate, I did appreciate that. But outside of that, I haven't received any type of monies from anybody. And when I sat down with the brethren and we kind of agreed to share in this work and doing, the work of the Most High, one of the things that I was against when donations and stuff came up is that I didn't want to take donations. And the reason why is because when you look at the New Testament, okay, back when I was believing in the New Testament, when you look at the New Testament, it's a couple things that we see there. One is that when you look at the Gospels, we can see how when the salvific son sent the disciples out, they didn't have nothing. So people gave to them and, things of that nature because they didn't have nothing. They were just kind of going from town to town. And then when you go into the book of Acts, we can see how the people were selling their possessions and then they were giving them to the apostles. And then the apostles would take the things that they sold and distribute it amongst all of the disciples. So I didn't see that among a lot of these other different ministries. You see what I'm saying? See, I make over $40 an hour, so I don't need other people money or things or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm straight, I'm good, in the trade that I do. So the Father has baracked me to be in a position like that. So I'm not really worried or pressed for people money like that. Like, I'm good, So when you look at a lot of these different ministries out here, what they would do is they would say, oh, well, the church is taking tithes. They're not supposed to be doing that because they're not Levites, this and that, and da. But then, see, they turn around and they still take tithes or offerings or donations that people give to them, okay? So, I mean, it don't even make sense. You might as well, if you're going to take donations, you might as well just press like the church is doing instead of trying to sit up here like, so I was just like, I didn't want to get into that, because they don't get this money and break it down, bust it down amongst everybody in their ministry. They may look out for people that's in their inner circle, you know what I'm saying? But as far as the entire congregation, they're not getting that money and busting it down and saying, there you go, this you, this you, this you. So I didn't want to get into that. Now that I no longer believe in the New Testament, now I'm moving in a whole nother direction. And then the donation that we're taking is essentially going to be for the entire nation of Israel, okay? So what you're donating to is our Israelite fund, and it entails a few things, right? The first thing that it entails is a land fund. And basically, and I'm not going to get in all the way into the details because you got the enemies of Yahoo out here that's listening, but I'm going to give you a little bit just so you can understand what's going on. And as we move closer and closer to execution, then I let out a little bit more so because you have those out there that are listening and their whole objective is try to hinder this and hinder that because they haters and they, it is what it is. So anyway, we're putting together a land fund, and it's going to essentially be free housing, free land for people, okay? But like I said, I'm going to go more into that as we get closer to that, but that's essentially what it's going to entail. The other thing that is going to entail is an educational fund where we're going to eventually have a school. Okay. And right now I'm in the process of finding me a school right now that I can go to and where I can learn the Hebrew language fully. I know bits and pieces here and there, but I'm just finna now undergo that full conversion and just get in there and get it, because see, we're moving in a time where once again, the Father is in the process of fulfilling these prophecies. And he lets us know that in the last days, he's going to return back to the people the pure language. So Hebrew was stripping from us, and we were giving this bastardized tongue, this garbage, this trash language, English. So it's time to move back to the Hebrew. And one of the main reasons why is because when you look here in this nation and in various different places around the world, they have all of these different versions of the Bible, okay? And a lot of times you will see these clowns out here with, oh, I got this Bible, I'm reading out this Bible. But one of the things that I have taught you, and I'm going to keep stressing this to you, is we don't get caught up in translations, because we know that the original manuscript is where we need to be at. If we need to determine what word and what context is being stated in, we go back to the original manuscript and see, well, what word is there and what tense of the word is there, and read the verse so we can know what context it is. Because what these Bible snake handlers do is they know that when you're translating words into other language, when you're translating words from one language to another language, they know that some of these words have double meanings. So the KJV may translate it like this, but then here come the NIV over here looking and saying, okay, well, that word could mean this or that. So we're going to translate it like this, opposite of how they translate it. And then this is our version of the Bible where they can sell Bibles and it read different from this Bible and all this other stuff. So we have to get away from that, because both ways could be translated properly, but then it could be, well, what context is it? Might be in this context and none of this context, even though it's translated properly. That word is being translated properly in this language. Okay, so once we get back to the Hebrew, we can read it straight from the original language, and we don't have to worry about this. What is a good translation to read and all this other stuff? We read from the original manuscripts, and that's it. So right now, I'm looking for a school. One of my partners, and I didn't even know this, but he was in Israel. He kind of went over there with the first wave and the Mona, with when all of that stuff was going on. And he was just kind of telling me what was going on with, some of the stuff with that, and was kind of telling me about some communities over in Chicago that I could go to where you can, learn the language and be in those communities. So I'm kind of divided between that, and because in my thoughts, and I was kind of telling him this, I kind of want to go out to Israel, and I would rather learn the language there, go out there from 6 months to like a year, and then learn the language, because I know that whenever you engulfed in the language, then, or immersed in the language, in a place where the people are speaking the language at, then you learn it better and you speak it better. You ever hear like how some of these companies, they source out some of this work to overseas, the Philippines and all of these people, and they speak English, but the English they speak is not like how we speak, fluid like that, because they haven't like really been here and kind of like adopted the tongue. They probably just went through a course, learned it, and then they kind of speak it, but it ain't like being there and you kind of saucy with it. You kind of, fluent with it. So if any of you guys know any good schools here or over there in Israel, let me know. Email me. My email is down in the description box. Email me. Let me know. I will look at some of those schools. And if some of you guys want to take this journey with me, email me, and we'll all take it together. Because what's going to happen is once we take the course and we go through and we learn the language, then once we set up and establish our school, then we'll be able to teach the Hebrew through the school. And then all of the people that's coming to the school, they're going to actually learn Hebrew. It's not going to be all this Mickey Mouse stuff, all this clown stuff. We got this school and all. It's going to be a real school for real learning. Okay. Also, I'm going to, when I get to that phase, is we're going to also have a library. So basically what I'm going to do is that we're going to get the servers and stuff set up. We're going to get the servers set up where I'm going to be able to take the books and stuff that I have. And of course, some of the brothers around me, we all got books and things like that, but we're going to start scanning them into the server. And then once we get those books, okay, if you are signed up for our library, then you will have access to that. Because we got to get to a point where brothers and sisters have same. So a lot of the books and manuscripts and things that I'm looking at, you need to have access to that too. So we'll have all of that stuff in the library. As long as you sign up for the library, then you have access to that. And then you can come, and if we're reading out this particular book, then you can just download the PDF, and then you'll have that actual book, on that digital book online. That way we don't have to keep buying all these books. And the other thing that I'm going to do is when I get to that phase, if there's brothers and sisters out there that got books, I'm going to let you know when we get to that phase. And then if you got books, you let me know what you got. And then I'll have you send me them books. And then I will work something out with you because you did pay for the book. So we'll negotiate some on the side where I will give you, we'll discuss that. And then once you send the books, I will copy the books and we'll put them in the server, and then I will send the books back to you. Okay, so when I get to that point, then I'll reach out to everybody, and then we can start going from there. And then if it's books that we don't have already, then we'll take them. And then, like I said, we'll work some out where I will send you some type of monies for, you purchasing the book and then allowing us to copy them and put them into the database. Okay, so all of that's going to happen within our school. So that's things that's coming up the road. Also, we have an agriculture fund that we also going to have, and I'm not going to go all the way in depth into that, but one of the things that I'm going to say is that if you're somebody out here that's keeping the dietary laws, one of the things that you have to be mindful of is a lot of these places that we go to, and I know that we cook at home, but sometimes we want to go out to eat and go to a lot of these, the restaurants and stuff, and a lot of these restaurants are serving food where you may get clean food, but it's in the midst of unclean foods, and Tanakh teaches us that if these foods touch, whatever is touching is unclean. So we might go somewhere, we might go to the fry joint, and we might want to get us some fried fish or something, and they're frying shrimp and all type of stuff in there in that same grease, so everything is just contaminated. Sometimes I like to go to Starbucks in the morning on my way to work, and I might get me like a cheese Danish or something. I have to let them know, like, listen, do not use those same tonsils that you're using to pick up all that swine and all that other stuff. Make sure you use a clean, clean tonsils. I don't want that stuff on my food that I'm eating. So yeah, I remember I had Dallas bagged up. I was at the airport, and it's like I wanted a Texas tuna melt, and they had, the person in front of me was getting all this pork and all that, and I told them, I said, listen, I want a Texas tuna melt, but make sure you take the gloves off, and all I need you to clean. Man, they cleaned everything down. I had everything bagged up, and the people that was there was Israelites. They was like, okay, we don't eat pork neither, so they like, man, we got you, man. So I'm like, cool. But in the places in the ghettos where our people are predominantly at, we have no access to real clean food. We eating all this corner stove food and all of this fake food. We don't have real access to clean water. So we're gonna get some resources in them spots. So this is what this fund is really all about. And I don't follow Islam or anything like that, but sometimes I have to go to the Indian spots and some of the Muslim spots, because I know that they don't have their food in there is going to be kosher. They're not going to have pork and all of this stuff in there because they're Muslims. So I go to those spots too sometimes and get the food, because I know that is straight. So this is what the money that you guys are donating to is going to be going towards. Even the memberships and all of this stuff to the Discords that's set up, all of that money that's coming in is going towards that fund. Okay, because I don't need the money. I'm straight. So all of this is going to be for the nation of Israel. The other thing is that if you go to our website, okay, our new website, to those of you out there who want to share in the work of the ministry, send me an email, okay, to through the website. You'll see it on there if you are able to help and share in the work. That way we can start getting stuff set up in all of these different towns where brothers and sisters is at, and start, kind of get some structure going, because we got a lot of big stuff coming down the pipeline for the nation of Israel. It's finna go crazy. What we finna do is finna be biblical. It's gonna be unheard of. You don't see none of these ministries here in the United States doing it. We getting ready to set the trend, because as I explained to you, we have the vision. So reach out to me if you if you have time to do certain things, just email me and say, hey, listen, I got email me and I will get back in contact with you. Let me know, like, look, I got time for this, because we're going to need accountants. We're going to need people that's able to do a lot of different stuff within the ministry. So if you have certain talents and certain things like that, send me an email and we'll sit down and we'll talk, and then we'll see where we can kind of use you at in the ministry, and just kind of get going. The other thing is go over to Israelite Talk TV. We got another channel out, okay? And subscribe to that channel if you guys are not subscribed to Israelite Talk TV. That's going to be the platform where I'm going to do a lot of the bigger lessons on. Okay, I'm going to still do lessons on this channel, but we got to start putting together, start setting up layers because of the silencing that's going on. You know, free speech has been under attack, and so they're putting in certain safeguards in order to try to silence a lot of people, so a lot of this truth is not getting out. So we got to kind of move with the flow. So we got Israelite Talk TV, where we're going to be doing a lot of the major, more controversial lessons on. And like I said, I'm going to do them on YouTube, but if they become problematic and they're like, you know, then we're just going to have to move them straight to Patreon, and you're only going to be able to access them there. But I'm going to try to do everything through YouTube, and if it's a problem, then that's how we got to do it. But go subscribe to Israelite Talk TV. We're going to be dealing with a whole lot of things. We're just getting that channel started. Right now we're dealing with the things that's going on in the celebrity world, because the celebrities are the ones that's raising our children. These are the people that's corrupting our children. And so we have to hold these people feet to the fire, because we got to understand that these people that are in the ghettos and all of these different places, these are Israelites, you know, and the Father is going to save them too, you know. So we got to start this work and start holding these people feet to the fire, because they're sitting up here and they're corrupting our people. They are the reason that all of this stuff is going on in our neighborhoods, you know. So the people that's got the word, following Torah, following Tanakh, these people are good. That's cool. But the ones that's not, we have to make sure. Just like in the days of Ezekiel, when the Father sent Ezekiel to those in the captivity that was wilding, it's the same type of time I'm on, because this is what the Father has sent me to do. So make sure you subscribe to Israelite Talk TV. It's going to be a lot of different things that we're going to be dealing with on there. I look to up the road have like some natural herbalists, you know, brothers and sisters that practice that, coming on the platform, people in business that knows about the economy. We have to start educating our people, because we just on this low vibration. So we're going to build that channel up. Go subscribe to the channel, share that channel with everybody you know, and then we're going to kind of take off from there. So I think that pretty much wraps that up. So